Aloha and welcome to the Joy Schtick Show, a weekly podcast where three friends from Hawaii talk story about the things from pop culture that bring us joy. Shakas and mahalos for checking us out. If can, please like and subscribe on any and every podcast platform, including a YouTube. A 5-star review is greatly appreciated, even though I can't say the intro good. It helps us out a lot. I'm your co-host Drake, and that's Scott.
How's it?
And that's Thomas.
What up, everybody? Yeah, it's been a long weekend all around. I'm glad I didn't have to do that intro because I would 100% messed it up. So, yeah, well done, Drake. Yeah, for tonight, it's all about Deadpool and Wolverine because I ran out of San Diego Comic-Con trying to get to this movie because I did not want anything spoiled, and I think it was fully worth it, man. Oh, God. I love this movie. Spoiler alert. Yeah. What'd you guys think about it? And what was your feeling kind of stepping outside of the theater? Drake.
I would say I give it like a 2 out of 2 because it was the fucking best thing I've ever seen all fucking day.
All fucking day.
All fucking day.
Is that?
I watched many one thing that day.
Yeah, I saw one thing that day. I mean, got the tickets early, drove all the way down to the Springs just to enjoy it with some friends and things of such. I got to watch it with friends. Hopefully, Scott, we know that you didn't have friends to watch it with, but hopefully you guys watch it with some friends. And it was everything I wanted. I couldn't stop laughing during the show. It was great. Moving on.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I went with family/friends, just to my friends, but they're my family too. Originally I was gonna go with Christine. She had a work conflict, so I asked Jazz, my sister. You guys have all seen her. I was like, "Do you want to go?" And then she was like, "Do you have another ticket for Lewis?" And I jumped on, and there was a seat next to us. I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking got it!"
Fucking lucky fucker.
Yep. So then I got that, and the three of us went, and damn, that was a good time. There was I think what's cool about this movie is like of course there was like we know there's cameos, so there's like a plethora of like people you can pull from, right? And there were certain things I thought I was gonna see, I didn't, but I was happy with the ones I did see. Like you know, so it was kind of like nice and refreshing. I was like, oh, so we'll get into that for sure. But overall, we had a freaking blast. Some of them were like Lewis is unfamiliar, like not as familiar as like we were with some of the stuff. So he even had fun. So
isn't Lewis like a Welsh person or Scottish or something?
Yeah.
Doesn't Ryan Reynolds own his like favorite soccer team or something?
No, that's Welsh. That's a different country.
Same thing.
In the UK.
Yeah.
Come on,
Lewis.
Come on, Lewis.
Yeah.
No, but we all had a blast. We were all laughing, and then it was fun to like come out of the movie and like just talk about like, oh, what does this mean? And like, oh, this is a reference to that. And like, you know, it's so fun to be able to do that again and like come out super positive with it. So that was my overall.
Absolutely. That's sick. So for everybody listening, we will be talking full spoilers on this one. Because the movie's been out. If you didn't see it this weekend, sorry. So we're going right
stop listening and then go watch it and then come back and listen.
Yeah, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Then, come back once you're done.
Yeah.
But, man, so this movie kicks off in such a amazing way, right? How are we going to, pay homage to Logan? How are we also going to make it Deadpool? And it's very much like Deadpool 1. Like it starts off with this crazy action sequence and then kind of rewinds. But the first action sequence is like... so damn good. Yeah, Drake, take it away.
Ryan Reynolds, kind of having that exposition with, or Logan, I should say, and his corpse, and then essentially using all of his body, all of his bones to defeat the TVA trying to attack him, and he's using his like femur as nunchucks, and he's hitting guys in the nuts, and it's looking like he's stroking cocks, and he's putting on Wolverine's blades, and then fucking stabbing people in his butt and doing like human centipede stuff. It was like
he got stuck.
I know, God, I didn't think that human centipede thing was gonna be like so funny, but it was just like no, it was just like the most crude, terrible humor. But man, that got me. You mix it in with a bomb song too with
Yeah.
NSYNC with Bye Bye
Oh my
Bye.
God. And he was dancing too. Son of a
Yeah.
bitch.
Oh my god. And yeah, the dance in between where it just turns into a music video, all these murdering fools is just like, oh, I was like, man, we are in for a good time because this is how you set up this movie. Yeah.
No, I agree. It felt like right from the beginning, I was like, dude, I bet you this whole film when making it or when like writing it and like was a whole back and forth, like, can we do this? I don't know about that. All right, well, hear me out. And it's like, it feels like they really pushed it to the edge and was like, maybe even like pushed it beyond and got away with some stuff. Like, and I mean, of course, you saw it in the trailer when they're talking about the cocaine. Like, we can't do it, but we can talk about it, even though we're not supposed to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. We just can't show it. It's the rules. Like, it's the perfect, like, it's, you know, it's great that he's meta, so he can like fully like get you. Like, it's, oh my God, it's so funny.
Yeah. There's some jokes where it was like Deadpool wouldn't know this, only Ryan Reynolds would know this, and like he's still like it still works. You're like, I don't know, it just because I guess Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
it's one of those things.
My brain doesn't know the difference. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. Like they just are one person. Like,
So it basically kind of rewinds, right? And we pick back up with Wade, and you know what he's been doing since Deadpool 2. We saw that he changed time, and it wasn't what people were expecting. I like that, which was because he had the time dilating device or changing device from Cable, you know, the TVA must be after him. And that is really not the case in this, and which I thought was really surprising. Like they're after him, but it's for a completely different reason. And I thought that was a really like unique take. But we also see that he just kind of has this normal life, and his normal life is like not that great in a way, or not seemingly as great as it could be. And he's lost Vanessa, but he still has all these friends and stuff. And I liked it because it kind of brought it back to like, okay, you know, who are the core people around Deadpool, minus like T.J. Miller, which that was the only thing I would say at that party. It kind of felt like his presence was definitely like noticeably gone for me, but it makes sense why. I didn't know why. Do you know why he got canceled? I found out today.
I thought he didn't mesh well with Ryan Reynolds. Like there was just things that went on like on set, and it was just like,
I think that's a pretty common thing, like with TJ Miller, because even on Silicone, he kind of like was like a diva, I guess, or whatever. Right. But I mean, he's funny and he kind of plays that crazy character. But apparently, he called in like a bomb threat to a train stop, and that's what got him.
And he thought it was probably funny, right?
Maybe,
He's kind of a kooky dude. He's like really wacky out there.
Yeah. So that got him cut from everything. So that didn't land well for anybody. And so anyways, his president was missing, but the people that were there, you have Colossus, you have a Negasonic Teenage Warhead, you have Yukio, you have Yukio. I love it. Like everything with Yukio, it like just their relationship, Wade and her, is just so funny. I thought that was it's so good. But Scott, do you want to take it away more on the party?
Oh yeah, sure. The party. I love his relationship with what's her name? Blind Al? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Dude, their banter is so funny. Like
so fucking hilarious.
I like if they released like Deadpool shorts and it was just like banter between them in the apartment or something, I would totally watch them all. That might have been my favorite part. I love seeing all the that and what's his name? Tim. Is his name Tim or
Paul or no Kyle?
Peter. Sorry, Peter. It's a very like Kyle. Just whatever white guy name.
I was like,
Peter.
Dang.
Peter was just so funny, and like of course throughout the movie he's great, but like he just has this like aura about him in this movie where like when you see him, you're like, hey, that guy, like you know,
and he's just like happy. Funny, and like it's just nice. He also for the Hall H Marvel panel, he moderated the whole panel, so he was like kind of making jokes with the cast too. And they're like, we do have a Peter out. So anyways, that was really cool. But like I love Peter, and obviously like he was in a comedy too that was like a UK based comedy on Amazon Prime. You can look it up. But so as soon as he makes that wish, we know that he very much wants Vanessa. It's like as soon as he blows out those candles, boom, knock, right? And goes out, and this TVA is very different in some ways than the TVA we saw in Loki. They're very more like militaristic in a sense, right? Like even their their uniforms and everything were like more like bulletproof looking. It had like more armor on it and stuff. And they come in hot, right? He obviously has the toupee stapled on his head, which was just
so funny when they rip it.
wild, yeah.
And then throughout the movie, he's like, "Oh yeah, I had a toupee." Like,
yeah, the freaking staples with the patches of hair.
So fucking weird.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but he gets pulled in. We see Matthew McFadden, who's playing Mr. Paradox. Yeah. What did you think about seeing him? And also, did you watch Succession first? And then what did you think about seeing him at this part?
I saw the first season of Succession. This reminded me that I need to go back and finish it. I love that show. He's great in this role, I think. Like he's very similar to that guy. It was funny, like after the movie I was talking with
Tom
my sister.
Wamsgans. Tom Wamsgans was his name in Succession.
Oh, that's a great name, by the way.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my sister afterwards, and I think the last movie she saw him in was like I think Pride and Prejudice or something. And it was like a very different kind of character. And she's like, wow, I didn't know he could like act like that. And I'm like, oh, like, and the last thing I saw was Succession. I'm like, oh, this is very much his style, I feel.
Exactly.
But it was, I thought he crushed it as kind of a side character. Anytime he was on screen, like, even though Ryan Reynolds kind of steals the show, like he kind of was like matching that same energy. Like I liked it.
Yeah. They had some good banter back and forth. Like I don't specifically remember any lines, but yeah, I don't know. What were your thoughts, Drake? I'm gonna see if I can find some. That's why.
I think initially when we meet him, I didn't really expect him to be a bad guy at first. I kind of was just like, oh, this is interesting. He's offering Ryan, or Deadpool I should say, the opportunity, and that's kind of where the plot is going to kind of kick forward. And it is, and it was a very pleasant surprise that he was kind of on the back end of like maybe this is the antagonist of the movie so far. His banter with Deadpool was pretty hilarious. I mean, obviously the back and forth in the beginning.
Yeah, I found one which was like, Mr. Wilson, you appear to have soiled yourself unconscious. He goes, I wasn't unconscious. And like looks around, right? The most classic line for the trailer.
Yeah, well, just for that part, I thought it was pretty hilarious. I mean, towards the end, I think there's a lot of funny lines as well too, but none that stand out to me more than other lines that I can get into a little bit later.
Nice.
Right.
Yep. So this puts us on our path, right? He gets the new uniform and everything, and I like the gold features on all of it. I thought that was really, really cool. And then from there, he basically learns that because Logan, who was the anchor being, was that what he was calling it in that universe?
That sounds right. Definitely an anchor point, anchor being, something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Is anchor being, because Logan, who was the anchor being in his universe, dies. Basically, that means that his whole universe is getting warped away. So Deadpool's solution basically is to find another universe with a Wolverine and pull him into his universe. And at this point, we start getting, I guess this isn't really cameos per se. This is just, Hugh Jackman showing up as Logan.
Oh, wait, before that though, I did like the dude in the cubicle who was like,
oh yeah.
That's great. And then as Deadpool's falling and his like butt's gonna fall, and he's like kind of excited about it, but also like kind of afraid. Like these little things are so freaking great, like just sprinkled out throughout the movie.
Because at first when he was like, oh, that guy's definitely checking me out too much. He just looked like a normal guy doing his job. And then once Deadpool pointed that out, then he was like, yeah, I am checking you out. And then like progressively got like more and more that he wasn't trying to hide it. That shit was so funny.
So good.
HR.
Yeah.
HR.
The slow motion just ass coming to his face. Like, look at his lips. But then now we start jumping into those universes, and we see this guy, very much Hugh Jackman, sitting at the bar. And we can only see it from Hugh Jackman's perspective, and then Wade in the background. And Wade's like, oh, whatever, Logan, come with me. And he jumps off the stool, and he's like 3 feet tall.
Like midget, yeah.
And he's like, comic book accurate.
Cue the montage.
Yeah. And I was like, oh man. And as soon as that happened, yes, Drake, to your point, like I was like, oh man, we're going there. So then
Apocalypse fucking Wolverine, loved it.
Yeah. The rock music playing, right? Like,
yeah, dude, fuck.
That was great.
Yeah, I think that was from God, what issue was it? It was like X-Men something in like 1997 or something. I don't know, like 147 or something if I had to guess. But it's crazy because they just pulled that move in a sense in X-Men 97, and then we get like the actual cover, like that's pulled straight from, again, a comic book. I think it was like 1997 or 1998 or something. But yeah, with him on that X, and just that world. But like seeing that comic come to life with all like the bloody skulls everywhere was like,
what was cool though, that shot, it felt like it was almost a comic too, because like it didn't feel realistic. It felt like Zack Snyder's like Watchmen or something. Like it was like a moving comic book. I was like, this is pretty sick. Like
that was cool.
Yeah.
Then we get I forget, it was like a Wolverine on a different timeline where he had his hand cut off, and basically it's like a metal. I don't know if you guys saw this, but like it's
that's Apocalypse Wolverine.
Oh yeah,
is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had like the teased hair and stuff.
There you go. Nice. Okay, when you said I was thinking of the the one where Wolverine's basically like looks like he's crucified on the X.
I see
when you said that.
Which is
so
that's
where
well, right. Yeah.
Okay, my bad, Drake. You were like, that's not even the guy I was talking about. My bad, dude. But yes, okay. So there's that Wolverine. What other? Was there any other ones before we get to
that cameo one? There's there was one. No, was there like at least there was a couple, right? I'd have to watch it again. Like
Patch.
This movie. Patch. Yes.
Yeah. He's wearing the white tuxedo and the patch, and then I did not expect him to just stab like the Deadpool in the head right there and slam him on the table. I was like, what?
That's gnarly, yeah.
Yeah. So that was crazy. The violence was not turned down by any means because this was the MCU or Disney, quote unquote. So that becomes very apparent in this movie right away. Especially, again, Apocalypse Wolverine is just stabbing. He's getting slammed everywhere. He jumps into a world where there's a brown and gold suit. And the brown and gold suit Wolverine has somebody else that he seems to be fighting, and it is a very, very big, large green guy who subsequently then like pretty much kills Wade in a sense by slamming into a tree, which I thought that was such a sick cameo and paid homage to the first appearance of Wolverine battling the Hulk, like,
which is great because he addresses like, hey, isn't this when you fought the Hulk? And it's like the Hulk's behind it or something. Yeah, that was awesome.
Did you love Cavalrine?
So yes, let's talk about it. Yeah, I think we're here. God, there were so many rumors about that, and I was like, "There's no way!" But it makes a ton of sense, right? Like this, but I'm wondering if this is like a John Krasinski thing, or let's just talk about how you felt first.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Let's talk about what we thought now that we've had time to process it. Like for me, right when I saw it, I was like, "Oh shit, they're doing it!" And now I can fully see Henry Cavill picking up the claws, after Hugh's completely done, and moving forward in the new MCU. I was blown away and so pumped by that because he to me feels more comic accurate. Not that he has to be comic accurate, because Hugh Jackman embodies everything that Wolverine is, but I think that Henry Cavill looks like Wolverine off the page, and that was really fucking cool. So yeah, what were your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, similar. I was like, if anyone can look as close to Wolverine and Hugh Jackman, like Cavill looked at, and it was cool seeing him like. First, it's just like, dude, this is like a way buffer Hugh Jackman. That's what it looked like, right? Like, I'm like, this guy's big as shit. I wonder if he's just a CGI Hugh Jackman at first. Right. And then when he turns around, I'm like, no fucking way, that's Henry Cavill, Superman, man. Like, what the fuck? And then my thought, I didn't think about it. It'd be cool if they went that route, but I was just like, oh, this is probably like a Krasinski route. Like, this is a fun way to be like, the fans have been talking about it. Let's give it to them, but it's a nod. And dude, that was cool. And he's strong as fuck. Like when he hits someone, like, oh yeah. What did you think, Drake?
No, I thought Henry Cavill as Wolverine, when I first saw it, I was like, holy fuck, like that makes me think that the mantle can be continually held. That I don't need to worry whether or not it's Hugh Jackman or not. Like I was involved. I was like, oh my god, Henry Cavill, let's just make the switch. Let's make the switch already.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
You instantly second the choice. You're like, okay, I buy that. Yeah, I'm cool. Because like people are like, there'll never be another Hugh Jackman, and it's like, That's true, but we're gonna need another Wolverine, and you got to pick the person carefully. God, I hope they pick Henry Cavill now because that would be incredible.
Yeah, and Henry is a
That'd be great.
Jackman, so he could
He
do it.
is. He is. So he finally gets to a world where he seems to have picked like the most loser Wolverine in all the worlds, right? Very kind of reminiscent in some ways of like Everything Everywhere All at Once. And, brings him back and has the costume on underneath the yellow and blue suit. And then the adventure really kicks off from there. It's a fun road trip movie. And I do see the comparison to Plane, Trains, and Automobiles. It's two people who one wants to love the other one wants to just push the other one away, and he wants to push the other one away because he's emotionally damaged.
Mhm.
But along the way, all kind of madness and craziness happens, and this is very much the case, but in a Honda Odyssey. So that was like,
Yeah.
that was just great.
Shit,
We get our first variant too of Deadpool, and we see like Canadian Deadpool. What was it?
what was his name? Like Handsome Pool or something like that? Like
yeah, it's like
Good Pool.
Good Pool or
some shit?
something.
Good Pool,
Yeah,
yeah. And just like the super long, straight flowing hair.
Yeah, dude, that dude is fucking
No
legit.
mask, not burnt. Like he's just
Nothing. Yeah.
Well, I don't know why he's Deadpool. He just is.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. I guess just maybe he still has the gift of the gab. I don't know.
yeah.
But man, that was incredible. We see Dogpool right off the bat. A lot of funny jokes going in there with Dogpool. They go on their trip. They drive out of the cornfield or whatever it is, and I don't know. Any thoughts like in
I just
this
think
portion?
no, the Honda Odyssey situation, like just like really shitting on the Honda Odyssey, set up for the following scene and made it way better. Ending with one of my favorite lines in the movie, which was like the Honda Odyssey fucks. That's so fucking. Oh my god!
Yeah. And then of course, Dogpool was like, he's like the perfect mixture of like adorable and like hard to look at. Like,
right.
he's just like, he's so goofy and derpy and nice. You're like, you can't not love him. It was
Just like
perfect.
licking
Like,
his fuck right
showing
his
him
mouth
lick
and
from
shit.
the side was just like, and he's just like,
Oh my god!
like opening his mouth. So great.
Yeah, that stuff was too good. That is just a perfect way to set up. Okay, there's variants in this world as well, and we should see some Deadpool variants, and
Right.
it kind of leads into what we'll see later on at the end of the movie. But we kind of get into the Badlands portion of it all, right? Or is this where they first? No, right when they land, don't they meet there and start fighting? I think we skipped like a whole portion.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. You see the
Saber-tooth,
20th Century
Toad.
Fox.
Oh yeah.
thing.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
let's talk about the first fight between them.
Mhm.
What were your thoughts? Because they did this cool thing of like letting them practically fight and really do their own fight choreography, mixed in with like some CGI moments and some wire work
yeah.
moments.
Mm.
Where I was like, God damn, they can make Deadpool look so acrobatic. He does this thing where he does like a breakdancing move where he goes to flip and like rolls off of his shoulder, bounces off the ground to kick again. And then there's a part where Wolverine charges at him and it goes into like a CGI moment, but like Hugh Jackman kind of becomes an animal, is like charging at him with
Oh,
the
that was
claws.
sick.
Yeah.
Dude,
And then
I
uses
was-
his claws in the ground to stop his momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
that
know
was
what's cool? Like, as soon as
Whew.
he got serious and he went down on all fours, I was like,
Yeah.
this is like
fuck.
he is like a Wolverine. Like, this is fucking cool. I've never seen him do this in any other movies. Really, I feel like.
Seriously.
But yeah, that was very cool. And of course, we got to see some of the stuff that we saw in the trailer, like
Yeah.
him seeing the guns and then like reload. That's still very cool. The way he like loaded his guns up with the bullets and stuff.
Right.
And, it was just so cool to see two people that can heal at such a fast rate, like just unload on each other to the point where they're like, "Stop! This is ridiculous!" Like, it was so cool, like to see, of course, him get stabbed and then him just
Yeah.
like unloading bullets into him. Like, it's just like,
Then Wolverine literally stab him up the a-hole. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that looks so painful. Yeah. I mean, and then having no bullets, and then having to pull out the katanas, and then like some of the crap he was doing with the katanas was just like, what? I mean, it was just like the most imaginative like katana work ever.
oh my
You
god!
know,
and
like-
I love the I forget it's like mini or little. He's like little knife, bink. Like every time.
He's
gonna
say that
he says
too.
He introduces it.
Yeah, because he says it later on too, back in the van. He's like
little
little knife, and just like stupid, like just the jokes in here.
Can't help
it
himself.
was just top notch. I guess before we go on too much, I guess I'm wondering, was that at any point did it hinder you from like enjoying the things or like feeling the stakes or whatever? Because I'd heard some people say like, yeah, it didn't really for me either. Because as Drake shakes his head, it's like I didn't really feel like it let anything, like maybe a little bit towards the end, but other than that, I was like so happy with the mood of the whole movie.
Wait, how so? Like, what are they? What kind of feelings were they feeling?
Maybe we should wait till we get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. But kind of towards the end, as they're trying to fight for who gets to sacrifice themselves. But let's before we get there, we'll remind me of it if I forget. But let's stay with this. They're stabbing each other, and then all of a sudden, like this rogue bandit of the Void comes in, and we also meet somebody. And I kind of wanted to split out cameos, but I think at this point you kind of have to talk about the cameo because this one fully. I was not expecting this at all. I had no idea. Yeah. This, how tied into like the rumor mill online I am, and I did not hear about this one at all. But man,
so funny though, so funny.
Yeah. Take it away, Drake.
So hilarious. Well, we get the envoy that comes after Deadpool has made the joke that it looks like a lot like Mad Max, and then they all come through. And they're all on like weird ass vehicles that are leading up to things like the Fantastic Four hovercraft, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes,
and then we
also I'll just shout out the Red Skull's car from Captain America 1.
Oh yeah.
And there was something else. I think it was like a bunch of Hydra motorcycles tied together in the chariot looking thing.
Oh yeah, which is like,
very Mad Max.
You steer that thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then you see kind of like Toad's tongue, and then you see kind of Pyro doing his pyrotechnics, and then all of a sudden you see, what is that called? Sabretooth.
Yep.
Who we saw that in the commercials, and then all of a sudden you see this hooded figure come down from like a large tower, drops down, and then you kind of hear his voice, and then you can hear Deadpool go, "Oh my god." And he recognizes it, so we're really anticipating, and he goes, "Oh my god, Cap!" And he's wearing blue, and we see it, and he pulls off his mask, or his hood, and it's fucking Chris Evans, and we're like, "Oh my god, it's fucking Captain America!"
Dude, that was like Captain America.
I know, I was like, "Whoa, he came back for this!" Like this.
Yeah,
and then he's like, "Don't worry, guys, I got this." And then he goes. And then Ryan Reynolds was like, "Oh my god, he's gonna say it, Avengers Assemble!" And he goes, "Fucking flame on!" And we were like, "What the fuck?"
I was like, "Oh, that's right." That's so cool. Yeah,
I couldn't believe they
so
did
hilarious,
it.
dude. So hilarious.
So shout out to our friend James, San Diego Thor. He's like, it makes sense though if you think about it, because he's like, why would Cap be in the Void? Like the Cap's not gonna get, there probably isn't a Cap out there who's not like the best version, you know what I mean? I'm sure there is. They have to do that because it's the multiverse, but I'm just saying, like, we're probably not going to see that Cap. So, of course, Human Torch makes way more sense. And now it's like, oh, remember Human Torch is coming up? And it gave us, like, this tiny bit of teaser on, like, how cool those powers are going to look on the big screen. You're like, God, that's going to look phenomenal. But there was this little detail because I was getting the Cap vibe, too. I don't know if it was in the score that was planning that idea in my mind or if it was... The suit looked blue. Then there was like these wraps on his hand that were white, but then there was also some red in there. So it's like from what I just saw there, I was like, oh, this is definitely Cap. So it's like I feel like they really set it up good. So it made you think that was Cap, and then you get the flame on, and you're like,
yeah, that was a perfect misdirect. Like that was great.
Yeah. So they get captured. They take them over to Cassandra Nova's place. The whole Fox, as many Fox villains as they could have back, it seems like they got. The Juggernaut, unfortunately, seems like it was played by a different guy. It seems that probably makes sense because that guy's a lot older now and he's probably not as buff. We also, I was bummed it wasn't Kelly Hu though for Lady Deathstrike.
Right. I think even sorry, I don't know if you just said it. But Toad was that wasn't Ray Park, huh?
I think it was Ray Park.
No. Was it Ray Park?
Was it Ray Park?
I mean, he's older now, so I wasn't sure.
I'm not sure
Was him or not.
You're right. It might not have been, but because I saw something recently from Ray Park. It might have been about Star Wars. I have no idea, but my brain's all over the place. But I think I don't know. It could have been Ray Park. Either way,
just because I know like the people who were like definitely were them,
no?
it felt like they showed them longer, like the Sabretooth and
right.
I mean, besides Juggernaut, but I think because his helmet had a lot to do with it. But yeah, for sure, Pyro and Sabretooth, they really like made sure they got screen time, and I'm like, okay, these are like the OGs.
Oh, interesting.
You know,
he has the credit. He has the credit, but
I mean, well, frick, maybe it was. I mean, he's also a stunt coordinator, or he's just
yeah. I mean, I think he might have been in a few scenes, but I don't think he was doing all the action. Maybe
I'm sure.
I don't know,
and then
he still got
reshoots. Maybe there's certain ones that are like that's definitely Ray Park, and then like they got a guy that looks like him. You know,
right?
I can see that.
Yeah, it looked like it, but we finally get our villain, Cassandra Nova. You know, the quote unquote twin of Professor Xavier. It's a lot more convoluted than that. She's like considered like a Mumadrai, which is like everybody in the universe has their like opposite evil entity, or if you're evil in one universe, then it'd be good, I guess. But basically, yeah, to Charles. And I thought what's her name, Emma Corrin, did a great job.
Yeah, I think so too.
Pretty cool. And instantly, as they're captured and brought in, you know, Johnny Storm gets his whole skin peeled like a freaking rustic potato. And
that was nuts.
That was nuts. That caught me off guard. There was a lot of like and like just surprising moments throughout this whole damn movie. I don't know how they kept everything such a secret. It's like they purposely leaked things so that we wouldn't catch everything, you know? Like,
yeah. And you know what's cool? Like, I think the comedy is because it's so like it's like solid. It's like Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool comedy. So for me, it hit throughout the movie. I don't think there was much that was like, or any that was like, oh, okay, you know, like we see in some other Marvel movies.
Right.
But because of that, I feel like they were allowed to do stuff like that might be seen as creepy in other movies. Like if that happened in like the Doctor Strange movie, that'd probably feel really creepy. Again, different director, but it didn't. I wasn't like scared. You know what I mean? Like when his skin got ripped, I was just like, oh fuck, like oh he's dead. Like you know, I'm just like, but I'm it's still lighthearted.
Blinks in. He gets like 2 blinks somehow.
That's right. Yeah.
And you're like, what the?
It keeps it light.
They set the tone with that real early with the first fight scene, and like we're already so inept with like the boys and all this stuff, and to see it happen in this movie, I think it matches with the Deadpool tone, and also too because Chris Evans was really like, what's going on, this, that, and this. It was getting pimped really, really hard.
He's been over the top. It kind
of needed to happen so that over the top in order to kind of end that climax and be like, oh, cut back to all the characters and be like, whoa, what the fuck was that?
Yeah,
and then we move forward with the scene. Like it was very good in my opinion.
And again, like I know it's a little out of order, but I love so much that like. Because Deadpool, like, is Deadpool, he could be telling the truth, he could be lying. When he's like, oh, you should have heard him. Said this, that. And it was so specific. He's like, I don't even know what that means. And you're like, you're on his side. You're like, yeah, that's crazy. No one says that.
I think at one point he goes like, I'd rather lick your cinnamon hole or something or whatever. And like that line, I like, you know, like you ever go to Costco and you see those like flat bagels that were like toasted? They're like bagel chips and they were cinnamony. Yeah. I don't know why. I was like trying to envision that in my head, or I don't know. It was just so damn specific.
Yeah.
That you're like, only Deadpool could make that up.
Right. Well, you think.
You think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But God, okay, yeah. So that happened. Somehow they escape and continue on the journey. They run back, you know, out. They try to kill each other. The van again holds down the fort. Becomes this insane battle in a van.
Which is super reminiscent of like they have like car jujitsu where you have to like.
That's where my mind went to that too. When he was like buckled.
Yeah, dude. I was like, this shit was so fucking hilarious. And I was like, going out through the whole thing, how they were stabbing each other and stuff like that. We you know, knowing that they have regenerative powers, and as it was going on and it was getting kind of more insane, and they were doing all these things, it kind of as it cuts to the car, panning into, and then previous to that, where one of the favorite lines is you know, the Honda Odyssey fucks because they were able to fight in it, etc. And it made sense that that's where they were getting out all their aggression, and they were kind of able to pivot their relationship and meet each other because Wolverine was able to call out all of Deadpool's bullshit that we see, that we know, but that maybe Deadpool hasn't realized for himself yet. And that we Deadpool, after calling out all of Wolverine's bullshit, or earlier, or why aren't you helping? Blah 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 blah. You're the hero, etc. And so they get to meet, battle, and then they get Deadpool's mummified in the seatbelts. And
That was so funny.
Wolverine's
They're
That
both
was
dead,
great.
but somehow
yeah.
somehow
Cut to-
Deadpool got some last shot in for Wolverine to be like that while Deadpool's like wrapped up. So I'm like,
Oh,
how did that
yeah.
happen?
Yeah.
It's fucking great though.
And then they get somebody jumps in the car because they pan out. The Hot Odyssey is still a good. So I mean, I think that's going to be a
There's gonna be a
was
lot of sales in
drivable.
this Honda Odyssey.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
drivable supposedly.
Yeah.
Sales are going to go up for the Hot Odyssey, and then
For sure.
the van drives off, and then all of a sudden cuts to the scene where Deadpool's waking up and Wolverine's kind of by the window, kind of pensive, and then we get a bunch of just shit I did not expect, but I loved every second of it.
Yes. And again,
What-
we're gonna
what
jump
is
back
it?
into the cameos
Yeah.
here.
I forget.
This
That's why I-
reminded me of I might be mistaken, but it reminded me just because of I never played the game, but it seemed like how it was pitched. Was this kind of like a Midnight Suns kind of vibe? Is that what it was?
It did kind of feel that way a little bit.
Or
Oh,
not
like
really?
because now we're talking about like the cameo part.
Yeah, the cameo part, because that's what they
Yeah,
wake up to, right?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they wake up to Elektra first,
Yeah,
right?
Jennifer Garner,
Jennifer
OG
Garner.
Jennifer Garner, Electra, OG Blade, Wesley Snipes,
Oh yeah,
original
They go.
Channing Tatum, Gambit. Yeah,
Okay, yes. All right, let's talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because this is the cameo part.
Set
yeah.
it up, yeah.
They like walk down into that whatever, like the base and whatever, and like this is we knew Daphne Keene was coming because they were showing her all over the place. I wish they did it
Yeah.
online, and that was kind of crazy. But shout out to Daphne Keene; she's having like a massive month between
Yeah, she
the
is.
Acolyte and this, so good
Yeah.
for her. But yes, dude, Elektra walking in, that was a shocker. It shouldn't have because I kind of knew she was in it, but I was like, okay, this is where we got Elektra. But it was so cool to see it. And then the next cameo was the shocker, which was Wesley Snipes, because
yeah, dude.
it's pretty well known Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes did not get along on the set of Blade. Like Ryan Reynolds has said like I hated like working with Wesley Snipes. So to get him in the movie was like, wow, they really have squashed the beef and it's come full circle. But Wesley Snipes is Blade, man. Like that's that was
I know
insane.
that's pretty crazy. And then the thing too, like I was watching this thing and they're like, it was because of Ryan Reynolds. Like Ryan Reynolds' character in Blade 3 was when they were like, oh, maybe he could do a Deadpool later.
Mhm.
So it's like it is crazy how it came full circle. And at the time, Wesley Snipes was the man.
Yeah.
So
They mentioned it too, like the line dialogue between them.
mhm.
There was kind of like a subtle
There was something.
take at that. There was something at that, a little bit
Yeah.
of tension.
Yeah.
Even more so when like Shining Tatum came in and that one line that Deadpool kind of delivered, which was is your voice coach a minion?
Oh, yeah, he's
What?
who's
Oh,
your
I-
dialect coach? Yeah, he's
yeah,
like,
is your dialect coach a
he's
minion?
your dialect coach a minion. Dude,
But
because that
that-
was funny too. When he first came in, right? I was like, first I was like, he automatically looks funny, and then I didn't even
Yeah,
think
he
about.
does.
They're probably leaning into like they're not gonna make him look cool probably because they're probably gonna like lean into him being goofy, make sure he sounds worse than he probably would have. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if he can do an accent. So when he first came, I'm like,
Right.
dude, this is the worst fucking accent I've ever
No,
heard.
I know. Well, like Channing
It's
Tatum.
so funny,
How many
dude.
people think of Channing Tatum now as like a serious actor? Like he plays comedies.
He plays
know?
comedy now.
Yeah,
Man, he's
that's true,
that's
definitely
true.
like as the words started getting way crazier, and he's like, blah, blah,
Dude,
blah.
yeah.
He's not even saying sentences. I feel like.
No,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I was like, okay, never mind. He's like fully like he knows what he's doing here. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, dude,
What
it's
about
so
that
fucking
boy with
hilarious.
the gumbo and the baba tibo wabba
And we're like,
And it
oh
was
my god, dude.
sometimes he
fucking
just
Channing
dropped the
Tatum.
accent altogether, and I'm like, this
Dude,
is
that
freaking
Cajun
great,
accent
dude.
was so hilarious.
Yeah, it would like mix it and be like, that's on track to like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's
Yeah.
nothing, like that.
The fucking costume was real on point though.
The
Like
costume
real on
was
point.
sick, and they end
Super
up
on point.
doing some stuff with him in the fight. You're like, they even found a way,
Yeah.
and like Channing Tatum is not, to me, doesn't look like a light guy. Like Ryan Reynolds looks like he
Right.
could maybe get a flip in, right? But like, no way you could get Channing Tatum to do a flip. But he was so acrobatic in that fight later on. You're like, wow. And like him charging up the cards and throwing at the bottle. Like it's also pretty well known in the industry how long Channing Tatum wanted to make a Gambit movie.
Yeah.
He had been pitching for it. He pitched so many times. He had been trying to get it made for a decade and it was never going to happen. So it's like, talk about wish fulfillment all around, like bringing Jennifer Garner back, getting Wesley Snipes back one more time as Blade, and then Channing Tatum finally getting to fulfill his dream of playing Gambit on the big screen. That was incredible. And then Daphne Keane of it all. Like, are we ever going to get Logan and X-23 back together? And God, that relationship between them still works.
Yeah.
It still is heavy.
Whoever was talking about like, some of these things, these quips, these funny one-offs that kind of took away from the drama of the show, like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, because the relationship with Daphne Keane or X-23 and Logan, when there's they're having that kind of moment to moment by the fire, etc. Like that was, if you're looking at it as a whole, that's way different than how the movie had been going so far, right? Or even these serious conversations that lead into these action scenes. There's all of that stuff. You can't say that everything doesn't balance each other out, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree with you, and very much in this moment there is that balance. And Logan, Hugh Jackman just gets to really act his ass off and get serious and get emotional and stuff. And you're like, I mean, that is one thing I'm kind of still confused about. Like, how did he let down his X-Men? Like, just because he wasn't there that one night, and then they these humans came in and killed them. Was that what he was saying?
But I mean, like,
that might be one of the only
Cyclops and Jean Grey and the Beast and I like. What do you mean?
It makes me think like, I mean, you might have just died too, but maybe that's like survivor's guilt. Like he's like, I should have died with them. That might have been it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I could see that. But you're right. That this part is very emotional. It's very like, man, they're doing the work. They're doing some acting here, right? Yeah, and that was great. They decide that they're going to go in and have this battle and basically try to take out Cassandra Nova. So that she doesn't wipe out the universe? Is that what it is?
I think she wants everything to get brought. She wants everything to be brought into that universe and then controlled.
Oh, in the void.
Into the void.
Oh no, I thought she wanted all universes to be unexistent until just the void. Only the void is left.
Oh right, that seems like it makes sense.
That's the same thing, right? They end up everything needs to be the void at the end. However she fucking does it, okay? It's just
she's trying to just void.
She's trying to void everything and then control.
Yeah.
Real quick, it was funny too to hear like, it's funny like I didn't remember this line as much as John, our friend John, remembers it. He'd quote this all the time. He's like, "Some motherfuckers." Oh, what was it? Some motherfuckers trying to skate up this hill. Yeah, and like he'd always say it, and then it was funny. Like when he said it in the movie, I was like, I didn't know, no one else was laughing, but I started laughing real loud because I'm like, dude, John's gonna love this line, like because he's always saying this line. It's great. Yeah.
I definitely laughed at it too because I knew how big of a line it was from Blade. Man, that was great. That was so good. But the action starts kicking off, and it's like an all-out battle. It's everybody's powers. It's I mean, Elektra was doing Elektra things. Blade actually got to have his like the twin blades. Is that what you said?
Yep, he used all of his weapons that he used previously, except for his like main blade. Also, when they were driving in, right, and then he used a bazooka to open up the hands of large Ant-Man. Yeah, and then he's like, "There's only ever gonna be one blade." And then it cuts to Deadpool looking over at the camera.
That was great.
Squinting his eyes.
That was so great. Like these meta jokes, man. That was just like, oh man, yeah, we know. See, that's how you do like fourth wall breaking done right, where it's like the audience clearly knows. And like they should be in on the joke, and we're in on that joke. So that was so good. This action goes off, and like they're killing everybody. Like even Gambit's killing fools. Like he's charging cards and blowing dudes up. He's charging the bow staff and blowing dudes up. Like you're like, it made me think like Gambit in real life would be murdering people.
Yeah.
Like he would fuck.
Fully, did he charge someone's torso? At one point,
he just stuck his staff in somebody's chest, and then he's like walked away all cool, and he fucking exploded.
Oh, that's how he did. Okay, I thought he like touched him. I was like, I thought he can do only inanimate objects. But,
right, but I mean, if he goes from bow staff to shirt, that's inanimate. Then that
works.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just turning everything you wear into a grenade? Like, damn, dude. Like, what the frick?
But that is what is so cool.
Yeah, it's
really
cool.
about Gambit is like he is turning everything into a weapon, but like the weapon he chooses is a deck of cards. Like that's pretty badass. It's just cool.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you made like paper
as
airplanes
stupid as-
instead or something?
Just
like, oh, you fucking. He's just making it.
Yeah, I think he would not be
Just
as
fucking
cool
origami.
or as popular as he is today. so.
Origami. He throws origami cranes at people.
you never know.
Yeah,
It'd be
you
great.
never know. In a different alternate universe,
I
there
want
is
that.
an origami or
Just like for a
origami
second.
gambit. Yeah. So they put together this master plan. They're trying to take down. Someone take over. What's her name?
Oh, they tried to take down
Brain's not working.
bald hot lady, but in the comic books looks a lot older. And we find out that essentially she can't send them back, right? But then she can send them back with the magic rings of what is his name?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And then there's a cute little quip that Deadpool says, and then she opens it up, and she's like, "Well, you have about 4 seconds before fucking the Alioth comes." And so, cut to all of the people like trying to make it happen, right? Elektra's looking up, and Blade's looking up, and they're jumping through, and it's a slow mo. Are they gonna make it? Alioth comes through, and obviously they fucking make it. And they get to the spot where kind of everything's taking place, and then. Maybe I'm confusing it because is this where all the other pools come in?
Yeah. So this is where Paradox has the Time Ripper, right? And it's supposed to like pull this or like destroy this reality or
Speed
whatever,
up the
right?
process of
Oh yes.
Oh
yes.
yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm wiping out that timeline. So because of what Deadpool has been doing and everything, and coming back, the Deadpool Society, or if that's what they're called, I forgot what it's called.
That sounds right. I kind of forget, but I think that sounds right.
Yeah, they all come in.
All the Deadpool variants.
Yeah, pretty much. No,
Deadpool
Society?
Corpse. Yeah.
Deadpool Corp. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was cool. We get all these sick Deadpools. There's a cowboy one. We get a zombie head, basically. We get
Headpool. You get Lady Deadpool, who is
speaking of cameos.
Yeah.
That was funny
with,
too, like
Blake Lively.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then in the what was it like leading up to the movie, he state like on Twitter, he's like Blake Lively is not female Deadpool or something like that. But it's like she clearly was. It's just it's so funny. You might as well just say she was. Like it's funny, but it's very Ryan Reynolds.
You could hear
when
her voice.
Like, so
when
great.
her voice, when she said something, I was like, "Oh, that's Blake Lively."
Yeah. And then the
Wait,
Western one
you know what,
was
though?
sorry.
No, you know what? The actual actress in the suit was not Blake Lively. The
She
only
just
thing
did just the voice then.
it was only the voice.
Also,
So
he's not
technically,
lying.
he wasn't lying.
I like it. That's even better.
Yeah, because she was pregnant because they just had a son. So she actually wasn't in the suit. So he didn't lie.
Oh,
Technically.
that's great. I bet
Wow.
if she
That's
wasn't
funny.
pregnant though, she probably would have been in that suit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
funny.
for sure.
Yeah.
And the what is it? You said like the
Cowboy
Western
Deadpool?
cowboy. It was Matthew
Yeah.
McConaughey, right, or something. I believe.
No way.
Interesting.
Matthew McConaughey, if you said Matt Damon, I would believe Matt Damon because
Okay,
Matt
hold
Damon's
on.
the king of cameos.
Oh, it's voiced by Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, you're
Okay,
right.
there you go.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It was
What? I
yeah.
did not know that. That's
It's
wild.
crazy.
That's wild.
And then
Wild West.
you also had like Kidpool, and then there was that Wrexham Deadpool,
There you
which
go.
was pretty hilarious.
Okay, I was like,
oh,
great.
okay, this is
When
what
that
you're
one
talking
pops
about.
up, you're gonna love it.
There was Dancepool, who was Nick Pauli.
Okay.
I think he is a dancer, and then Rob Delaney obviously was Peter Poole towards the end.
Right.
Peter.
That was so, dude. His freaking belly button popping out of that suit. Dude, he's so
Yeah, dude.
funny, dude.
Before that too was even more hilarious because Nice Pool, right, the one with the flowing hair and the gold guns, he was him
Legolas-looking
having that
dude.
conversation with fucking Deadpool and all that stuff, and how he was like, I can also break the fourth wall too, and then he looks over and he goes, the proposal, and then you think he's gonna say more shit, and he just fucking does. He just turns back around. So fucking funny, dude. Oh my god,
Dude,
that was so good.
The Proposal, because I like that show. I watched that movie like 3 times.
That movie's good.
It's a great movie. One of the best rom-coms ever. I mentioned it recently, and someone's like, "That's a great movie." I'm like,
I
"Yeah,
think
it
we
is."
watched it this year for the first time for Christine. I'd seen it,
really?
and she's like, "Oh, I've never seen it." I'm like, "Oh, it's a good movie. I think you'd like it." We watched it. Yeah, it was good. It's a good time.
It is. It's cute.
Oh shit, man.
But and then he uses like Nice Pool as a human shield. Completely gets
You're
destroyed.
gonna live.
Yeah, you're gonna
so ridiculous.
Oh
You're gonna
man.
live.
Which they do.
Regenerate.
Yeah.
So fucking funny, dude.
Oh man, that was just too good. They get blasted in like Liefeld's feet too, which Rob Liefeld, notorious comic book artist who helped create Deadpool, like could never really draw feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was hilarious. But then like all of a sudden there's this all out battle, right? And we finally get the moment. Like I was like, when the hell are we gonna get Wolverine the Mask? Because like they're selling it to us like we're getting Wolverine the Mask. When is this happening? And at this moment he reaches back to his hood or his collar and pulls the mask up, and I'm like, what?
That was
sick.
Dude, it's so cool with the white eyes. Like,
yeah.
It looks cell shaded too. The way it was painted, man, so good.
And then he gets down again, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I like it because there was also like this joke of like, kind of like Batman's wings, except for he can move his neck. I was like, nice.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
I was like, dang,
so
another
funny.
meta joke in there. But yeah. They just go to town, and it's just an all-out just murder. But I was also thinking, as they were killing them, I'm like, aren't they all just gonna come alive? Which is very much what happens, but it still doesn't make the scene any less badass.
Yeah.
They definitely like start murdering.
Which is
everybody.
funny, sorry, real quick when you mentioned Batman, like it's so funny that like I guess only Deadpool could do that. Like you don't know if is DC just entertainment in their world? Like it's just DC Comics.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember
Until
the
they
Eternals
eventually do. So it'd be interesting if they ever do that crossover, and
The
then
amalgam.
they make Deadpool beat us. Like, oh, they're real, like or something, like
yeah.
Batman, like it'd be
Oh, that would
great,
I see what you're saying.
Like-
yeah. They could do that like a different universe, because this still seems like it's in a different universe, right?
yeah.
Like
I mean,
anyways,
sorry, that was
different
just, like, really
timeline,
just
I
quick,
guess.
like-
Different timeline.
different timeline, right.
Yeah.
So all out battle was really freaking sick. They go down into, they have to stop Mr. Paradox because why can I never remember her name? Cassandra Nova.
What's her?
Yeah.
She's now taking over the machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because she like hand fucked Mr. Paradox.
By
and
the
now
way,
she's-
very cool way to do it, like
Yeah.
visually on screen, like just flowing through like the head and stuff, like
Yeah,
eerie
Seems real
and like
gross,
very cool.
Yeah, it was like kind of popping out of his eye thing. It's
Yeah,
like, nah, bro.
Yeah,
That was not didn't make me feel good. But this is I think the part where I could kind of see, like, there's this very emotional part, and then there's like these jokes, like where Deadpool, they kind of swap places. Hugh just is like, I'm gonna go, like I have nothing to live for, you have things to live for, and he's gonna walk in, and at the last second, Deadpool changes, and then it starts making jokes. That was like the one scene I could kind of agree with people where I was like, maybe he didn't have to make so many jokes there, but I still loved it.
What was his jokes again?
He was like kept going, and then he was like Supermaning through the window, and then he was like walking down the stairs.
I thought that was really funny.
I still thought it was funny. Okay, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I think I chalk it up to just like people who sometimes make a lot of jokes in real life, like in an uncomfortable circumstance. He's like,
right.
he's gonna make jokes.
Yeah,
And
but I was
he
also
might be
like, we don't have
I'm
time
gonna-
for this.
Yeah, but he's also like, well, I'm gonna die, so this is cool.
Yeah.
Like, this is a perfect opportunity. And he's like going down the
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's what made it funnier for me, at least, where it's like, okay, well, that's got to be the last one because he's got to go over there, and he does another. I'm like, you fucking dude, just go, dude. Like,
It makes sense. It makes sense because we feel as if Deadpool, he's making this commitment, right? Wolverine already was gonna go, and so he's like, he ended up switching with him last minute. So we're like, he's doing what he would do as his natural defense in order to kind of admit to himself that he's willing to do this now. And so we fully believe that that was gonna happen, right? Until we start seeing him pull out, the negative time and the positive time, and he can't really reach it, and they're like, oh my god, he's not gonna make it. And then we kind of figure out, there has to be a way for this to work that way, and it ends up working out that way when Wolverine comes in, grabs his hand like we know, and then all of a sudden Madonna starts playing because he stabbed the fucking other portion in, and then all of his clothes rip off, and then his abs are showing.
super cool.
And then Deadpool like looks over and he's like,
That part cracked me up.
So
Just like,
fucking funny, dude.
Yeah, still getting that moment in there about to die, and he's just like checking him out. Oh man,
Yes, that's great.
So
A very Guardians feeling too, like the
yeah.
together they can like
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. I like that.
You're right. That was like Guardians 1. Yeah, that was great. How did you? Yeah, I mean Hugh, like he's 50, dude's about to be 60 soon. You know, like what? Why does he look so buff and ripped still? Like, God, that was crazy.
Well, that's the thing. I assume that could be really good CG too, like helping.
Yeah.
Because
you
I
think?
saw this thing like I forget what it was, but it was like this little like TikTok whatever, and someone's like, dude, they CG'd Hugh's arms, like some of the torn
Oh.
stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's like they CG'd like these muscle arms. They did it really well, but I guess some of the
Mm.
early footage maybe was more noticeable. Like in the movie, I couldn't really tell. Like
No, me neither.
But,
I didn't even know they did that.
I think too that must have been Hugh over the years had talked about how like the hardest part is
keeping up
that body. Like he's got to like dehydrate himself, all that stuff, and like and he's getting older now. Even Henry Cavill was saying like, dude, the two hardest parts in Superman, the hardest thing for that role was the 2 scenes that I had my shirt off. Like other than that, Superman was easy. So
Right.
that muscle suit he's wearing, the yellow one, is like proper muscle suit. It makes him look like great. So that was probably a caveat. Plus we got the yellow suit, so it's like a win-win.
yeah.
I feel like.
So true, so true.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get some. They end up saving the day, and we see Hunter B-15 come in from Loki, kind of tying it all together. I like the idea too that there was a rogue agent. Yeah. So I thought that was all cool. All's well that ends well. They get back to their timeline, and Wolverine subsequently comes back to their world or his world with him and has a place. And yeah, it was just nice, and. It was Daphne Keane was there too at the last dinner party, right?
Yep. Daphne Keane was there. Everybody from the original party was there, except for, I thought Shatterstar died in the.
No, he reverses time in Deadpool 2.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Saves,
A lot of
saves
them
him
died,
and
right?
saves Peter.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he saves him and Peter. So that, and then Shatterstar, if you go on our social media, that's the guy that I got to take a picture with. He was super cool.
Ayo.
Yeah, Louis
Super
Tan,
handsome
super
too, right?
super nice.
He's the one
Is he
he was
taller
like
than
in
you?
Mortal Kombat
Yeah,
and
and like-
Iron Fist and stuff.
Yep,
Oh,
and
shit.
like incredibly handsome. And
You touched his abs?
I wanted to,
Or his ass.
Wow.
but it didn't. But that
One of the
too, I
A's?
didn't get to.
He's
like,
can I? No.
One of the things that I wanted to
Like
that we
Deadpool's
forgot
butt,
about.
like
Dude,
whatever
okay,
it was called,
real
suit
quick.
taker. Sorry,
His-
Drake. Yeah.
His
No
putting
worries.
on the suit and the smacking on the butt, like
Oh,
that-
yeah.
and then the cupping
Yes.
of the crotch,
Your,
and smacking the
your
butt.
Taylor's a pedophile.
yeah, exactly.
Your Taylor's a predator.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
what
it
he
is
said.
Predator.
Um,
Sorry, go back to it.
So fucking funny. I love how they just kept going back to the fucking dick tap and the butt squeeze.
Yeah.
There was a part where Mr. Paradox was showed something to Deadpool, and he was like, "Why is Thor holding me?"
Yeah, and he's like, "Whoa, you're
Yeah.
not supposed to see that. Change that."
Yeah, you're not supposed to see that, blah, blah, blah. So interesting because it is a meta thing. Are we going to see that further on down the line, or is that just something, within another timeline, etc.? So
That's what
I
I'm
saw
thinking. I'm thinking
Thomas
like
gasp.
I'm thinking in Secret Wars, maybe that happens and he dies, or it's gonna lead up to that moment, and he's at least gonna be like, "This is that thing I saw
Oh,
on the
that'd be
TV."
fucking hilarious.
Like he's gonna
Yeah.
address it. It's gonna be great.
That'd be
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was, it's definitely something they planned for the future. A bunch of things they planned for the future, actually.
Mhm.
But it's that. Obviously, Henry Cavill, I think they can move forward with him if he wants to do Wolverine. Let's cross our fingers.
Please.
Sorry, something?
No, I just said please.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. There's that. There's what else were we just talking about? Yeah, Deadpool dying, basically. I think that can definitely be something that gets put into Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Do these characters carry over to our timeline? Because it still seems like they're still on their own timeline or whatever, right? Or own world. Yeah.
I mean, I think it can just because from what there was a line that was meant to be quippy, where it was like, "Welcome to the MCU. You're joining at a little bit of a low point."
That was
And I
such
That
a good
was
line.
funny. Yeah.
And I think that little meta joke, which is the reality of the situation, right, or at least what everybody else
I'm
thought.
Marvel Jesus.
Yeah, I'm Marvel Jesus, or MJ if you're nasty.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the turning point, right? Like I view this movie as like a pivot towards everything we're going to be seeing. Can these characters work? We know they definitely can, because not only has we been able to reverse timelines or go through, to different worlds, but the news that came out over SDCC over a certain individual who played a character who is now going to reprise a role as a different character, right? We now know that can take place. And did I say that in a fucking weird way that was grammatically incorrect?
I'm not sure,
like,
but I
I don't know. My brain,
we now
my
know
brain
that
has
can
2
take
brain
place.
cells
Yeah, okay.
left.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Dang. So, I mean, we can definitely get there, right? And I think the idea of Deadpool, how he sets up the meta, how he's like opening the door in terms of the comedy, knowing that Disney wasn't doing well, knowing that they now absorbed Fox, and we get to see all that B-roll at the end of the film as well too, right? We got to see
great. I like that.
That was cool.
Chris Evans be super fucking Boston-y, and we get to finally close that chapter on why he got to die. So they addressed everything they needed to address. And moving forward for the next movie, I think next year is going to be what is that called? Captain America: Brave New World. Now we're gonna get that serious take of like the political world, and then Thunderbolts is gonna come out, then Fantastic Four is gonna come out, then Blade's gonna come out. Then we're gonna have the Avengers movies that we've been looking forward to, and this is I think the beginning of the wave that we're gonna be surfing until the crescendo's on to the biggest wave that Marvel has to offer so far.
And I'm assuming at some point like Deadpool's gonna live in his timeline, and then their TVA is actually gonna be like, in all seriousness, though, we do need you in this other timeline for this event. And it's like, all right, it's like, it's my time. Probably make something like, I haven't been packed or some kind of thing. They might even just kidnap him, take him again or something. But
because you can make the argument that Deadpool can save anything. Deadpool can save anything because he's an already established character that we know he can break the fourth wall. He can be he can do parody of everything that's there. He doesn't have to stick within the IP because he can make it what we are thinking as the fans, and not only bring funny, but then bring a realness to it as well too, as you've seen through Deadpool and Wolverine. So I think he can be a catalyst for a lot of different things, or revamping of things, or making better of things, etc.
Yeah, I can't say it any better myself. I think that's a perfect way to say what he can do and how he could possibly be used in the future if Ryan Reynolds wants to come back. So yeah, well said, man. Yeah, so I don't know, anything else you guys want to drop on this one? I think we've kind of touched on most of the movie. I want to touch on it more, but I think that this was a pretty good recap of everything, and we kind of had our predictions right there. So any other lines you guys want to shout out and anything before we wrap this up?
Yeah, there was one other thing. I don't remember if we went into detail, but it was when you see Sabretooth and he's like, oh my God, this is it. Like the showdown. This is what everyone wants to see. Like, you got this, man. Like, stay far, or whatever it was. This hype. And then it's very samurai-esque. Like, I just hit my mic. Sorry, Tom. You're going to hear that. But that's a noise.
Sorry, audience.
But just like the crossing and then Sabretooth's head falling off. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. It felt... I saw this in a video and I was like, oh, very much so. Like Harrison Ford, where he's about to have that big battle. And he just pulls out his gun and shoots the guy when the guy wants to sword fight. I'm like, it felt very much like that. Like, you think it's like, oh, here we go. This fight is like this fight that's been going through forever, and then he just ends it real quick. Like, oh shit, okay. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. They give you a little bit what they want, but they're like, we got to keep the story moving. So, the pacing was really nice in this film.
The pace is awesome. It really does keep moving, and it keeps you on to the next thing and the next thing. And it's just a great ride the whole time. So yeah, you're right. I think that is definitely a plus of this movie. The pacing is awesome. Yeah. I think that was all great. There were some beautiful shots. I think Sean Levy had an incredible job trying to bring all of this cast and these wide range of actors and all these different personalities together and do it in a satisfying way. And I think he really did. I'm obviously super happy that the Russo brothers are back for Avengers 5 and 6, but I think he would have done a pretty decent job, possibly. Maybe it would have been a little too funny or something, but, I think it could have worked. Wade, he gets to talk to the girl at the end, and we go through we get through all the credits again, and at the end we get the scene we had talked about before, where he's basically spilling all of these things that the Human Torch said to Cassandra Nova, but we actually get to see the tape Like, you guys thought I was just being a dick to sacrifice him.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's Chris Evans doing the whole monologue, which is just like
Like
So
Drake was saying, like
hilarious.
in his
It's funny.
Bostonian accent, and it's like,
Yeah.
dude.
all the weird stuff. He's like, I don't even know what that means, and then he's like clearly saying everything, and it's like, yep, like
Yeah.
tell me how you
She
feel
can
about her, and then he just like unloads. Like it's so funny, and it was a cool
So
way to
good.
be like, a nod off to Chris Evans as well. Like he does
Mhm.
mean a lot to the Marvel universe, and if this is the last time we see him, whatever, like it was cool. We got him in this way, and then we end with him
Yeah,
again,
No.
like
Yeah.
dude.
in a
Chris
really
Evans will
funny,
be back.
different way. Yeah, I
Yeah,
hope
he's
so.
got- yeah.
He's going to be back as Cap. There's no way. Like, if you get RDJ back, it's only a matter of time before you
We
get
need
Chris
America's
Evans.
ass. That's what we need.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, 2 Caps on screen, and even if he comes back like the comics, like old man Cap with Sam Wilson's Cap, that'll still work. But I could see that happen. I mean, Cap didn't die. He went to the moon for all we know. He went back in his time, so
That's very true.
we're gonna get him.
And,
Yeah,
Sorry, real quick, and like you were saying, like the recap at the end of like all the just the kind of the behind the scenes of all the good moments that they had in all the Fox franchises that we got, throughout the years.
Yeah.
That felt really cool. Like speaking of nostalgia, like it's like, oh
Yeah.
man, like I had a good time with these movies, and it's like, we're there, we're not gonna forget them, but it was good. It was like a nice nod to them. We're moving on, but yeah.
one of
That's
the movie going experiences I remember the most of my life was my birthday, taking everybody to X-Men. You know what I mean? I'll never.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'll
bet
never
money
forget
that
it.
the Juggernaut would not say I'm the Juggernaut bitch.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude,
yeah,
why would I lie to you? And I'm like, dude, that you wouldn't say that. I don't know why you're saying
Yeah.
like
I
because it
think
was coming
yeah.
right off of that thing on YouTube. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. And
Right.
what do you fucking? He said, I'm like, you did? What the fuck? Like, there's no way.
I mean, that joke right there paved the path so Ryan Reynolds could pull internet jokes off and just throw them in this movie. The only thing too is like we didn't get Taylor Swift. The internet was so convinced we got Taylor Swift. I am also convinced that she did film something, but it wasn't put in the movie because he had people come in to film scenes and it was not used in the movie.
yeah. Speaking
So,
of, like, Rob McInerney, right?
So he apparently did play a TVA agent.
I
but
thought there was a picture of him, like he was like a variant of Wolverine.
like a character. Yeah, maybe.
But he
Maybe
was
right,
like,
too.
He's like, I flew 2,000 miles, and he's like, I know my boy didn't leave me out of this film. He's like, I'm gonna go back and watch it again tonight, or something like
that's
that.
funny.
Like, yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, but I saw he was in a TVA suit too.
That's
but,
cool.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds, man, you want to be his friend. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Hugh Jackman. The marketing, everything around this movie has been incredible. This is, like they call it like a monoculture, right? Where like there's something that happens in culture and everybody knows about it. At least, as far as America goes or whatever, right? And
Right.
this was definitely one of those things. It feels like a monoculture. Like everybody who still said like, I stopped watching Marvel after Endgame, whatever, has told me they're going to watch this movie. And so I think they killed it. It didn't get everything I was expecting, but it still met all of my expectations.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about earlier or like in episodes past, like, oh, do we think that this movie's going to make $1
I
billion?
was just gonna ask that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, good call. I do. I was so wrong. If I said it wasn't going to make $1 billion, I'm an idiot because I think
Didn't it
definitely
already
make $1
reach like
billion.
almost halfway? Like in this
Yeah,
weekend,
it's
like
halfway.
400 something. million?
438 million was the total I saw this morning. So it
Yeah.
probably made 500 million as we're talking about it right now.
I mean, globally, it's probably going to make a shit ton of money as well.
'Cause
too.
you-
like,
yeah.
there's no way it doesn't make a
And
billion.
people
Yeah.
are rewatching it. Like this definitely had that rewatchability factor to it.
Yeah.
So
You can't catch everything. You can't
Yeah.
catch all the jokes. You can't see every detail of the fights. You can't catch it all. And so this has to be, one of those movies you rewatch. So, man,
that's cool.
never bet against Ryan Reynolds.
I know,
And,
right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Never bet against Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. You will be wrong. So, anyways, all right, guys. Well, that's it for tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed this bonus episode. Tell us what you thought about Deadpool and Wolverine. Are you going to watch it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times? I don't know how many times, but you should go watch it. It is incredible. It has been
a lot of times.
a wild weekend. My brain is barely functioning. Let's get out of here. And mahalo for Schtickin with us.
Peace.
Ugh.